Hello and welcome, guys. My name is Christos from the Universal Mastermind, and we are presenting you with a new episode that we call The Power of Delusion. I hope you forgive us that we had almost zero time with our crazy schedule. If you're following us, you know that we have been on a 3-month tour and it's been, let's say, grueling. But and it doesn't get any better, by the way. I always think it will get better. It's almost like prices. We always think the prices will come down, but honestly, in 57 years, prices never really came down, unfortunately. So we have to take what it is and make the best out of it. So the idea is that we are talking today about the power of delusion. When a lack of talent doesn't stop success. We call it the great entertainment paradox. Imagine you're at an audition. You watch someone step onto the stage. Their singing is off key, their acting is terrible, their dancing worse. You cringe and you expect them to be rejected immediately. But years later, that same person is, surprise, a global superstar. And you wonder, how in the world is this possible? This is the paradox of entertainment. Some of the most successful entertainers are not the most talented. Some were ridiculed, laughed at, and they were told they had a zero chance of making it. But they believed in themselves so profoundly that the world had no choice but to follow. So were they delusional, or were they simply living in a future reality before anyone else could see it? So let's try to break it down with a couple of examples. It will not surprise you that I start with Kim Kardashian, because she's what? Famous for nothing? Before her rise, Kim was Paris Hilton's assistant, and she was dismissed as just another socialite. No discernible talent, so she could not sing or act or be a comedian or dance, though she now is acting in a couple of TV shows, but there was really no talent, as we call it. And yet she built a $1 billion empire and became one of the most recognizable figures in pop culture. So what happened? Kim acted as if she was already an icon. She meticulously curated an image of luxury and exclusivity before she truly even had it. She leveraged controversy and turned it into power, so she created a demand for herself where there was really none. Was this delusion or a masterclass in self-manifestation? Another example is William Hung. He was an American Idol failure who really won big. In 2004, William Hung, in famously bad audition for American Idol, he sang She Bangs by Ricky Martin, became a viral joke. With zero vocal ability, zero stage presence, yet he became a sensation. He released, I hope you're sitting, he released an album that sold over 200,000 copies and earned 6 figures from appearances. And you wonder, like I wonder, how? Instead of hiding, William embraced his status. He believed in himself so much that people started rooting for him. He turned failure into opportunity, proving that unshakable belief can be more powerful than raw talent. Another example is The Room and Tommy Wiseau, which is called the worst movie ever made, which is now a cult classic. The Room was made in 2003 and was meant to be a serious drama, but it was so bad, it really was bad, that people thought it was a comedy. So Tommy Wiseau's acting was objectively terrible, awkward delivery, bizarre expressions, and inexplicable dialogue. Yet today, Wiseau is a legend. The film became a cult phenomenon, and James Franco even made a movie about it. It's called The Disaster Artist. Wiseau refused to accept reality's judgment. He insisted his vision was brilliant, and by sheer force of belief, the world came around and his movie found an audience, not because of its quality, but because of his relentless conviction. So what is the lesson here? The traditional path to success says, be talented, work hard, and prove your worth. But these examples show something stranger. You don't always need talent. You don't always need skill. What you need is certainty. If you can convince yourself, and by extension others, that you deserve success, reality often bends to match that belief. The big question, is delusion the ultimate cheat code? How many people hold back from pursuing their dreams because they think they're not good enough? How many times has reality rewarded those who ignored their limits? If belief can override talent, shouldn't we all be a little bit more delusional? Think about it. If William Hung can sell 200,000 albums, what's stopping you from making it? If Kim Kardashian can become an icon with no talent, what belief do you need to hold about yourself? And if Tommy Wiseau can turn failure into a success story, how many people are failing their way to the top right now? So you will be left with this idea. Maybe the people we call delusional aren't that crazy. Maybe they're just early adopters of a reality that hasn't caught up yet. The question is, what reality do you want to pull into existence? The brain can't tell the difference. And this is where the power of mental visualization lies. The human brain is an intricate network of neurons that functions not only as a processor of external stimuli, but also as a projector of internal experiences. Research in neuroscience has consistently demonstrated that vivid mental imagery can activate the same neural circuits as actual experiences. This phenomenon is particularly evident in studies involving athletes, where mental rehearsal can produce comparable neurological responses to physical training. For example, a 1996 study by Dr. Guang Wei at the Cleveland Clinic found that participants who merely imagined themselves performing strength training exercises increased their muscle strength by nearly 13%, while those physically trained saw an increase of 30%. This suggests that the brain does not fully differentiate between an imagined experience and a real one. Both can induce physiological changes. You heard of the placebo effect, healing through belief. The placebo effect further illustrates the brain's ability to transform belief into reality. In medical trials, patients given sugar pills or sham treatments often show real improvements in their conditions, provided they believe they are receiving an effective drug. The body responds as if it is actually being treated because belief alone activates biological process that supports healing. A famous case is the 1955 study by Henry Beecher, which revealed that nearly 35% of patients who received a placebo reported significant pain relief, similar to those who received real medication. And this demonstrates how expectations shape reality at a biological event. Are we wired to believe into existence? The neurological ability to manifest through belief is not merely an anomaly, but may be an evolutionary feature. Humans rely on belief structures to predict outcomes and navigate the unknown. Whether through religious faith, confidence in one's abilities, or expectation bias, belief plays a key role in determining how we experience reality. This raises a fundamental question. If the brain cannot distinguish between imagined and real experiences, could delusion simply be an early form of reality creation? We are entering with delusion also the quantum superposition and its probabilities. In other words, the observer effect in quantum mechanics. Quantum mechanics challenges our traditional understanding of reality by introducing the observer effect. The idea that the mere act of observation changes the behavior of subatomic particles. In the famous double slit experiment, particles behaved as both waves and particles until they were measured, at which point they chose a definite state. This suggests that consciousness plays an active role in determining physical reality. If at a quantum level reality is fluid until observed, could our beliefs and expectations influence which version of reality solidifies? Of course, we are now in the multiverse theory, where we try to align with all possibilities. In Kabbalah, I call it um, uh, Chokmah. Chokmah is the sphere of all possibilities. The multi-universe hypothesis posits that infinite versions of reality exist simultaneously, with every possible outcome occurring in some version of the universe, which is true. So if this is true, then delusion might be less about being wrong and more about choosing a different timeline to align with. So consider this. If every possibility exists, then the version of you that is wildly successful already exists. Could belief function as a mechanism for tuning into that specific reality? Do the most delusional people simply persist in aligning with an improbable reality until it becomes probable? This aligns with the work of Dr. Amit Goswami, a quantum physicist who suggests that consciousness selects reality from a field of possibilities. If reality operates on probabilities, those who persist in an impossible vision may simply be shifting probabilities until their vision becomes dominant. Cognitive dissonance, as a superpower, is the mental discomfort experienced when beliefs and external reality don't match. This can create a psychological crisis or an opportunity. Rather than adjusting their beliefs to match reality, highly successful individuals often force reality to align with their beliefs. For example, Arnold Schwarzenegger declared he would be a Hollywood star and a US governor despite his accent and non-traditional background. His unshakable conviction bent reality to fit his belief. Many athletes, musicians, entrepreneurs, visionaries are pushing past rational limits. Many elite performers use visualization techniques to push beyond rational limitations. The power of belief and repetition rewires the brain. It strengthens neural pathways until success becomes inevitable. Somebody like Michael Phelps, the most decorated Olympian, trained not only physically but mentally, repeatedly visualizing every race so that his body already knew what to do under pressure. And Jim Carrey, the comedian, before achieving fame, wrote himself a check for 10 million for acting services rendered and carried it in his wallet like a talisman, we would say. Years later, he received a 10 million paycheck for Dumb and Dumber. And let's be honest, that wasn't really a pinnacle of movie history. This pattern suggests a fundamental principle. Reality doesn't happen to these individuals. They impose their reality on the world. What separates the delusional from the successful is there is a critical threshold where belief transforms into reality. The evidence from neuroscience, quantum mechanics, and psychology suggests that belief is not just an internal mental construct, but an active force in shaping reality. The mind can alter physical states. The universe operates on probabilities, and cognitive dissonance can be leveraged to rewrite the boundaries of possibilities. So the real question is, what version of reality are you choosing to believe into existence? Let's look at my world, the magical and the occult side of delusion, magicians, sorcerers, and the power of the unshakable mind in magic. Let's look at Aleister Crowley, who said reality bends to the will of those who dare. Crowley, of course, one of the most controversial and influential occultists of the 20th century, declared that Magic is the science and art of causing change to occur in conformity with will. This statement implies that reality itself is not fixed, but can be reshaped by an individual's focused intention and absolute belief. One of Crowley's most radical experiments involved assuming the identity of a god, literally acting as if he were divine until his external reality conformed to that belief. By treating delusion as a doorway rather than a defect, Crowley and other magicians erased the boundary between belief and experience. People who know me will understand when I say I'm a huge devotee of Franz Barden's idea of certainty. In his book Initiation into Hermetics, Franz Barden taught that a magician's certainty, the unwavering belief that their magical action will produce a result, is the key to making it work. The challenge? Most people cannot maintain absolute certainty because they are conditioned by external reality. Barden's exercises include holding fire in the palm of your hand through heat immunity technique. Please don't do this at home unless you are truly trained in this technique. Some people breathe underwater through control of bodily functions, moving objects through pure willpower. While these practices seem impossible at first, they force the magician to override conventional belief structures. If the mind can be trained to dismiss limits, then what we call delusion may actually be the embryonic stage of reality creation. This aligns with modern studies on placebo effects and self-hypnosis, where belief itself alters physical states. The fool in the tarot, of course, for me is the archetype of divine madness. The fool's leave faith as a tool for reality creation. The fool, the card 0 in the tarot, is often misunderstood, depicted as a youth stepping off a cliff. Many see him as reckless, but a deeper esoteric interpretation suggests otherwise. The fool does not step off the cliff because he sees a path. He steps off because he believes so deeply that the path will appear. This connects directly to the concept of manifestation through faith. The greatest inventors, artists, and spiritual leaders took leaps not because they had certainty in external proof, but because their internal certainty overrode external doubt. In various mystery traditions, the fool's energy represents the willingness to embrace the unknown, a state that often appears foolish but is actually a higher form of wisdom. Through history, many cultures have celebrated the idea of the holy fool, the Russian Eurodivi, saints who pretended to be insane to test societal perceptions of reality. Zen Buddhists, crazy wisdom masters, are teachers who deliberately acted nonsensical to provoke enlightenment, and Shakespearean fools, often the only characters who speak the truth under the guise of humor and madness. These figures challenge the assumption that logic is the highest form of intelligence. In fact, stepping beyond logic may be the key to unlocking higher realities. Of course, I will bring in Hecate at the crossroads as a choice between perceived reality and hidden possibilities, as I am a devotee of Hecate. Hecate, the goddess of magic, the liminal, and the crossroads, holds dominion over the spaces where one reality ends and another begins. In esoteric traditions, the crossroads is not just a place, but a portal to multiple possibilities. The act of standing at a crossroads symbolizes being in a state of transition, a moment when reality is most malleable. The choice one makes at this juncture determines which timeline becomes solidified. This concept mirrors quantum superposition, where multiple realities exist until an observer forces a choice. In magic, invoking Hecate At a crossroads represents the act of choosing which potential future to collapse into existence. Crossroads in ancient sorcery and magic exist since the ancient times. In hoodoo and folk magic, practitioners leave offerings at crossroads to gain favor with spirits and open new pathways in life. In Greek mythology, crossroads were placed where spirits gathered, and making a decision there had supernatural consequences. In medieval grimoires, sorcerers were instructed to perform rituals at crossroads to summon demons or divine the future. These traditions suggest that decisions made in heightened states of awareness can alter destiny itself. Hecate is often depicted with the three faces, each looking down a different path. And this symbolism is profound. One road represents the past, the inertia of what has already been chosen. One road represents the present, the power to shift reality now. And one road represents the unseen future, the unknown that awaits a choice. This is the meaning of the three roads of Hecate. To walk Hecate's path is to embrace uncertainty and claim the power to shape the unseen. Those who hesitate at the crossroads remain trapped in external reality, while those who choose step into the realm of magic. What separates a magician from a madman? Historically, the line has been thin. The key difference seems to be who controls the belief. A madman is controlled by his delusion. A magician controls his delusion and bends reality to fit it. So if we look at Crowley, at Barton, the Fool, Hecate, all point to the same truth. Delusion is not the absence of reality. It is the precursor to a new one. Perhaps the greatest secret magic is this. The world belongs to those who are willing to believe before there is proof. The greatest innovators walk the fine line between delusion and genius by grounding their beliefs in action. And then there is societal perception, when the world labels you insane until you succeed, which is the pattern of success itself, from rejection to recognition. History shows that most great innovators were initially labeled as insane or unrealistic, and this pattern is predictable. First, people are being ignored. People dismiss new ideas as impossible or irrelevant. Then they get mocked. If an idea gains traction, society ridicules it. Third step is the resisted. If the idea persists, people actively fight against it. And fourth is the accepted. Once proven successful, the idea becomes mainstream. Gandhi famously said, first they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you, then you win. When you look at the example of Nikola Tesla versus Thomas Edison, Tesla's AC electricity was mocked and opposed by Edison, who had a vested interest in DC electricity. Tesla was seen as eccentric, but today his innovation powered the world. Vincent van Gogh. Van Gogh sold only one painting, one in his lifetime. His work was labeled as the ramblings of a madman. Today he is considered one of the history's greatest artists. The Wright brothers, experts claimed heavier than air flight was impossible. The Wright brothers, mocked as dreamers, proved them wrong in 1903. That's not that long ago. So why society only rewards success after the fact? People naturally resist paradigm shifts because they challenge the known order. Those who break barriers threaten conventional belief systems, which is why society often fights back until success is undeniable. The role of fear is where radical ideas disrupt comfort zones. The demand for proof society requires always results before giving recognition. The risk of association. Until success is confirmed, most people hesitate to support an unconventional idea. And how to persist through the social resistance phase. For those who wish to succeed despite societal resistance, understand the rejection cycle If people resist, it does not mean failure. It often means you are ahead of your time. Surround yourself with believers. Every visionary needs a support system to counteract mainstream doubt and use mockery as fuel. Many greats, from Steve Jobs to Lady Gaga, used criticism to sharpen their resolve rather than break the spirit. Delusion is neither purely good nor purely bad. It is a tool that must be wielded wisely. When paired with action, it fuels greatness. When left unchecked, it leads to self-sabotage. When rejected by society, it must be held onto until success proves it's valid. The question is not whether delusion is dangerous. The question is, will you use it wisely or will it use you? The big question for you, the listener, is delusion necessary for success? Or the role of delusion in achievement? And throughout this exploration, we've seen how belief, sometimes irrational, sometimes grandiose, has been the force behind some of the greatest success stories in history. Whether it's entrepreneurs or artists, magicians, visionaries, politicians, the recurring theme remains reality doesn't change first. Belief does. Certainty can override talent, skill, and even logic. And what seems like delusion today may be seen as vision tomorrow. But now the question shifts from history to you. How delusion play a role in your own life? Have you ever been called delusional? If yes, welcome to my boat, which to this day, with so much proof that I delivered, I'm called fake or delusional or bizarre or eccentric. It's a compliment, trust me. Many people have been told that their dreams were too big, too unrealistic, too impossible. And the question is, what happened when you pursued them anyway? Did you face rejection and push through? Did you abandon the dream too soon? Did reality shift in unexpected ways? So consider, Oprah Winfrey was told she was unfit for television. And J.K. Rowling, I don't care what you think about her, was rejected by 12 publishers before Harry Potter changed the world. And Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team, but refused to stop training. And now ask yourself, what's a dream you've held onto despite opposition? Are you currently holding back from something because it seems unrealistic or impossible? And this is your reality experiment. How far can belief take you? Here's where it gets fun. Let's test the limits of belief and see if reality bends when met with unshakable certainty. Step 1. Choose a small delusion to test. Pick a belief about yourself that may be mildly unrealistic, but not impossible. Examples are: people are drawn to me. Act as if you're a magnetic and see if interactions change. Money flows effortlessly into my life. Operate within the mindset of financial opportunities that they are everywhere for you. I'm becoming an expert in XYZ. Even if you're a beginner, live as if mastery is inevitable. Step 2. Embody the belief for 7 days. For 1 week, live as if your chosen reality is already true. Speak, act, think, feel, especially feel, only in alignment with this belief. Observe how people react, how circumstances shift, and how your own confidence changes. Step 3. Document the results. Did people start treating you differently? Did unexpected opportunities arise? Did reality resist or did it start to bend? If successful, what would happen if you expanded this belief in larger areas of your life? Encourage yourself to also research and listen to stories of other people, like the ones that I explained to you. Moments when you're told that they were crazy, but they kept going. Times they believed this in something so strongly it actually became true. Because that's what we say: be careful what you wish for, because you might get it. How they overcame skepticism, doubt, and resistance. The unshakable belief installation is an experiment that I call becoming the reality shaper. This experiment is designed to install an unshakable belief in a seemingly delusional idea until it bends reality to match it. It uses principles from psychology, magic, and cognitive hacking to trick your mind into accepting the impossible as inevitable. Choose your delusional idea if you want to go a little bit step further than just 7 days. Pick something that feels outlandish, yet deeply exciting to you. It should be a dream or goal that feels just beyond your reach, something people might laugh at if you told them. Examples: I will be a world famous artist. I will manifest 100,000 within the next year. I am the most magnetic, influential person in every room I enter. My business idea is revolutionary and people will back to invest. The key is choosing something bold, yet possible within a larger frame of reality. In other words, don't pick I can teleport unless you're working on quantum mechanics. Then construct a reality bubble. You will saturate your mind with this idea until it feels like an unshakable truth. Think of it like a method actor preparing for a role. They don't just act the part, they become it. So there are some techniques to strengthen the reality bubble. Rewrite your identity statement. Instead of I want to be X, say I am X. Example, I'm a globally recognized fashion icon. Talk about it as if it's done. Speak as though it already happened. It's crazy to think how last year I was just starting out and now my art is selling internationally. Daily visualization practices, I cannot stretch this enough. Spend 5 minutes every morning experiencing your reality in first person as if it's happening now. Then the physical embodiment: dress, walk, behave like the person who has already achieved it. What would a world famous entrepreneur wear? How would a Hollywood star walk into a room? And then surround yourself with symbols. Make a vision board. Change your phone background. Fake a contract. Write yourself $1 million check. There are many symbolic, talismanic ways that you can borrow to bend the reality. Talk about it as if it's happening. When people ask how you're doing, say things like, it's crazy, but my business is blowing up. Investors are lining up. Or, I just signed my first major book deal, even if the contract isn't in front of you yet. Speak it into existence. That is what Lady Gaga's new song means. Abracadabra. Abracadabra. I speak into reality. Say, yeah, my new music is gaining traction. The right people are noticing. And do the impossible publicly. Take a small, real-world action that pushes your belief toward reality. If you want to be a world-class speaker, book a speaking gig. If you want to be a musician, release a song, even if it's just a demo. If you want to attract massive wealth, start behaving as someone who already has it without reckless spending. Tell at least 3 different people about your goal in a way that assumes it's inevitable. The more people hear you say it, the more it reinforces the belief, both in your minds and in yours. And this is where we create the reality feedback loop. This is where things get wild. By acting in alignment with this belief, you start see small shifts, coincidences, unexpected opportunities, strange synchronicities. When this happens, do not brush it off as luck. Celebrate each tiny validation as proof that the belief is solidifying. Double down, increase the intensity of your belief in action. And why does this work? Because your reticular active system starts filtering reality to show you evidence that matches your belief. You psychologically create a self-fulfilling prophecy. When you act as if it's real, others start treating you accordingly, reinforcing the belief. The illusion of certainty effect. People are drawn to those who are confident in their own narrative. Some of you know that I'm My only hobby that I have is fashion. And it's amazing how often when I get dressed, and I do get dressed if you follow my Instagram, um, I'm being told, are you in fashion? Are you designer? And I say, no, I just spent the money on it. But just by dressing a certain way, I give people an impression. And the ultimate test is the public reality shift. And that is why I'm saying it takes at least 7 days of focus to perform one bold act that makes your belief undeniable. Make a public announcement on social media or in real life. Apply for something beyond your realistic level, a job, a funding, a role, a competition. Send an email to someone huge in the industry. What if they respond? Actively seek validation from reality instead of waiting for proof. Force it to show up. And the final rule, no matter what happens, never break character. Reality must bend to match you, not the other way around. So to make this experiment even stronger, document everything. Write down every coincidence that supports your new reality. Track unexpected shifts. I randomly met someone in the industry, for example, or I, by accident, I met a person who could guide me to something that I always wanted. Record how people start responding to you differently. That is a surefire evidence that your reality is bending. At the end of the experiment, review your notes. You likely will be shocked at how much of your delusion has already materialized. Most people wait for reality to give them permission to believe. But the most successful people in history acted first and then let reality catch up. The question is, if you could install one unshakable belief that would make your biggest dream inevitable, what would it be? Because the moment you believe is fully, the world will have no choice but to believe it too. And with this, I want to leave you and have fun being completely delusional with reality and substance and creativity and fun and miracles and magic. Until we meet again,